The Xbox 360 is the world's most notorious console for having the most popular hardware failure known to the console market. The 360 is the console that pulled Microsoft out of its failure known as the original Xbox and became a staple in the social interaction market as it had Xbox Live. With a massive library of games, the Xbox went on to become one of the most popular consoles ever created. Today, I will be taking a look back at the Xbox 360 and see if you should pick one up almost 15 years later. If you guys haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and also hit the bell icon so you won't miss any future videos. I'm going to be posting more of these Is It Worth It every week, and by you hitting the subscribe button, you'll be showing your support. But without further ado, let's get right into it. In 2004, Microsoft was drawing new ideas for the next gen console. After being crushed in 2001 by the dominant PS2 and its sales, Microsoft needed a new console to bring them back into the gaming market. Xbox had 3 goals for their new console. It needed to be sleek, be powerful, and bury Sony for good. In 2004, Xbox had plans to stay competitive in the home gaming market, and one of the ways they did that was secretly asking IBM for the PS3's specs. You see, back in the early 2000s, Sony was designing their PS3, and had the same goals as Xbox, except the bearing part, to create something that will rival its predecessor in terms of popularity. Sony was asking IBM to design the console its CPU. Microsoft heard about this and demanded that IBM give them the specs for the PS3 CPU. IBM said yes, and Microsoft was given the specs. Microsoft was impressed by the PS3 and used similar specs as the console, but stated that it would be 10 times more powerful. Microsoft settled on designing a new controller that would be similar to its predecessor, but be way more comfortable and less bulky. Microsoft later went on to use HD DVDs in its console, as they thought this format would be the new format to bury the Blu-ray drive. And I think we all know how that turned out. The Xbox 360 was looking promising, but it had one small issue: the design. In Microsoft's attempt to make its console sleek and small, it pushed the hardware to be crammed inside its small chassis, which limited airflow and caused the motherboard to get extremely hot. Microsoft didn't see this as an issue and proceeded with production. After testing the Xbox 360s for errors, failure rates came at a staggering 60 to 70% of all consoles, which made the 360 practically unshippable. The red ring of death was starting to make Microsoft worry about how they were going to ship these consoles. These failures led to Xbox having to ship small amounts of 360s to stores, which led to shortages all across the world. Despite having these high failure rates, Microsoft went on to ship these consoles anyway. The Xbox 360 was released on November 22nd, 2005 in the United States and Canada. The 360 was met with critical success, as critics all across the world praised it. IGN named the Xbox 360 the 6th greatest console of all time, out of the field of 25. Although not the best-selling console of the 7th generation, the Xbox 360 was deemed by TechRadar to be the most influential. This success sparked 2 other major revisions of the console, such as the Slim and the version E. The unit I have here is the Slim. The Xbox 360 featured the IBM PowerPC CPU clocked at 3.2 GHz. An ATI graphics chip clocked at 500 MHz, 512 MB of RAM, a removable hard drive, and a HD DVD drive. The Xbox 360 had some pretty good specs and pushed out graphics which look good for today. The overall design of the Slim version is very sleek and small compared to its predecessor. It had the 360 logo out front with a DVD drive, a power button which lit up when it was turned on. On top, you had the fan intake, and its hole fit well with the console's design and wasn't very obtrusive. The back of the console had a HDMI and AV port with a lot of USB ports. The Slim model is the version of the Xbox 360 that I always tell people to buy. It's small and sleek, plus it doesn't have the red ring of death issue at all. This console has lasted me for about 8 years, and I've had no hardware issues with it at all. The controller is really comfortable to hold for hours on end, and feels incredibly solid with having a reinforced plastic all around. Strength is a feature Microsoft really wanted to have in this controller, as they knew people would be smashing their controllers on TV screens in Call of Duty. The UI is easy to navigate and is very resemblant of Windows 8, with its look of square applications. You can stream and watch all your online movies using Netflix and YouTube, as they still support it on this console. Lastly, we have all the games. We have Assassin's Creed 2, Battlefield 3, Driver San Francisco, Forza, and the all too popular Minecraft. These games were amazing on the system, and its launch title Forza made Xbox a market giant. The game I sunk the most hours into was Driver San Francisco. This game was such a breath of fresh air for the series. It featured a new storyline with likable characters, and its most popular feature, open world San Francisco. My most fond memories of this game were just ignoring missions and just cruising along in my Pagani with the radio blasting. It's like GTA, but without the killing. Next, we have Battlefield 3. Now this game was my introduction to the Battlefield franchise and was my calling card to move away from Call of Duty. The game was such a blast for me. I never really cared much about the story because the multiplayer was really where it's at. 64 player games were complete chaos, and it made me fall in love with these monolithic battles that the Battlefield franchise has been known for. The game had huge maps and made you feel like an actual soldier going into war. There would be these little mini battles scattered along the maps, and then everyone would group up and then go straight into enemy lines in these massive 64 player battles. I'm glad this trend has continued straight to Battlefield 5. The Xbox 360 sold much better than its predecessor, and although not being the best selling console of the 7th generation, it is regarded as a success since it strengthened Microsoft as a major force in the console market. The PlayStation 3 struggled for a time due to being too expensive and initially lacking quality games, making it far less dominant than its predecessor, the PlayStation 2. It took until late in the PlayStation 3's lifespan for its sales and games to reach the scale of the Xbox 360. The PS3 did catch up to Xbox and did surpass it in sales. The Xbox was such a great console, and it introduced so many features to us gamers that we take for granted today. Xbox Live was a huge feature, and it was solidified as the best feature on the 360 had to offer. The games on the system were always its biggest selling point, with titles like Halo and Mass Effect. I would recommend that anyone go out and buy this console, as the multiplayer is still alive today, with Microsoft still supporting it. These consoles usually go for around $40 to $70 and are a solid pickup for hours of fun. This console made online gaming a necessity in the gaming market, and it helped bring Microsoft back into the console market as one of the world's greatest gaming companies. But that's it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I wish to see you all in the next one.